I was asked by a member of YouTube through a message to try and explain the military mindset. And the best way I can explain the military mindset in short term, one easy definition, is it is a building of mental toughness, of psychological endurance, and just willpower. To be more specific about it, I've actually took the time to break this down for him. The first thing in building mental toughness is you have to accept or be willing to put your mission first. The mission always comes first. In civilian terms, that's putting your goals before yourself. If your goal is to become a doctor, then you don't worry about going out and having fun and spending time with your friends. You worry about studying and learning. The other thing is that you have to point to on here is you have to train realistically as possible. In some cases, you're going to put safety to the wayside because you're going to have to prioritize what safety really means. I got a little busted lip here and it looks kind of fat, so this goes back to that. I did some really heavy sparring. I took a shot to the lip and it busted my lip, and I had the MMA gloves on and I had the mouth guard in and everything else, but this isn't an injury. This is a scrape, a bump. It's nothing. It's not going to threaten my life. It's not going to grievously injure me. It's just going to cause me a little bit of pain and discomfort. And when you're training, you have to be willing to accept pain and discomfort and all these other things that you really don't want to, but you're going to experience in a real life situation. Now that pertains to martial arts, but again, you can take this back to the civilian world and look at it academically. A person wanting to be a doctor or a lawyer has a great deal of things they have to do, and that mission, that life mission, that goal of becoming that thing comes first. And so you have to prepare yourself in a realistic manner to face those challenges. When I was in the military, when I was in high school, guys like myself who were wanting to go in the military right out of high school were told to, get involved in things like track and field because you're going to do a lot of running, get involved in wrestling or some sort of martial art, because those things are going to help to prepare you and kind of build on that mental toughness for the training that you're going to go ahead and take. Contact sports like football even, where a real thing that you were told that you should be involved in because it helped to build on that mental toughness. It helped to build on the fact that you were used to dealing with frustration, you were used to dealing with fatigue, you were used to dealing with being tired or sore. So you have to prepare and train realistically, prepare and train realistically for that end goal. Now, the third little thing on this list that I've mentioned, our third little thing on our list is going to be you have to pay attention to detail. Attention to detail means that you have to pay attention to the little things as much as you do to the big things. It's not enough to go in there and have this big thing of I want to be a doctor and therefore I make good grades in school and that's all that's going to get me there. It's not going to do that. You have to pay attention to detail. Some of those details are going to have to know human anatomy. Some of those details are going to have to understand certain things, body chemistry, hormones, stuff like that. Okay, you can take biology classes in high school, and if you're going out of high school into college wanting to learn these things, you're going to have to refresh yourself. Not let the school do it, not depend on the school to do it, but refresh yourself. As a martial artist, myself specifically, when it came to martial arts, when you start looking at stuff, and this is the reason why my street-focused jiu-jitsu is the way it is, when I started looking at things, I realized that everything was punching, kicking, and grappling. There was the same techniques in every martial art, and there was really no difference. The only difference was how they go about training them. And so I started looking at training methods, and I started developing training methods, things that I thought were effective that I really liked, and brought them in. Now, I also started looking at it and found out that very few martial arts include a psychological factor. Some of the martial arts which do include a psychological factor draw also from a traditional base, which has this bad habit of kind of explaining things in the old terminology, which gives you a mystical explanation of chi or whatever for willpower. So I kind of cut that out and shaved down the mystical stuff and all of that, paying attention to the details to get something that I felt was well-rounded. So I included modernized weapons and psychology and all these other things to do that, because I was paying attention to detail. I was trying to train realistically, and the mission at the time was to have an effective self-defense form which covered all the bases. It's not going to really be heavily focused on anything or specialized in anything, but it's going to give you enough on every broad spectrum of it that you have enough out there that you can add onto and build onto as an individual. Or if that's as far as you go, that you're left with enough that you're safe and secure, not just a feeling of false security, but a feeling of actual realistic security. Now, that's all an example of the paying attention to detail side. And when we get into this fourth aspect is really hard because it's becoming mentally tough, and that's an accumulation of everything out there. Now, this goes back to the attention to detail stuff, but whenever you're in that attention to detail, it's basically a method of planning. And then this comes back to your mission becomes first aspect too, as well as the training realistically part, because whenever you're putting out that plan for your mission, you have immediate goals, short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals, and a final goal. Now, your final goal might be, I want to be a doctor. So your immediate goal should be finding out what you need to do to be a doctor. Okay, once that's done, you have your short-term goal, which is learning some of the more basic stuff at your age or at your skill level, like first aid and stuff like that, which will be taught to you as you go into medicine to give you an idea of how to apply things and do things. Then you're going to look at your midterm goals, which is a more deeper understanding of biology and human anatomy and stuff like that, which you're going to pick up out of high school books. And then you're going to go into a long-term goal, which is going to be your college planning, and all this is going to, each time you're going to try to build on the short-term goal is going to build on the immediate goal and lay the foundation for the midterm. The midterm goal is going to be built on the foundation of the short-term goal and lay the framework for, or lay the foundation for the long-term goal. Your long-term goal is going to be built on the foundation and framework of your midterm goal, and it's going to be the foundation for your end goal. And then when you have your end goal and you've completed your end goal, then that needs to be another stepping stone to another goal, to doing something else. So it's not just simply sitting there and saying, okay, well, now I'm a doctor. Okay, well, fine, you're a doctor. Either you're going to go work for someone, or you're going to open your own clinic, or you're going to do volunteer work, or maybe you want to go specialize in something, a heart surgeon or whatever else. So it's not just a simple matter of goals and meeting those goals. And the idea behind this is, the whole point of this is to condition you so that you become mentally tough, that you accept that there's certain things you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to deal with a lack of sleep, staying up all the time studying. You're going to have to deal with having to concentrate under conditions which are uncomfortable to you, which distract you, and which put pressure on you. And small amounts of pressure build up over time. Eventually, taking that small amount of pressure, getting used to dealing with that, you can deal with more and more amounts of pressure. So the whole idea of becoming mentally tough is to allow yourself to just suck up all the bad things that's going to be there, that there's nothing you can do about it, and to be able to realize that no matter how big, instead of where most people try to make a mountain out of a molehill, they see a small problem and say, no, I can't do it. You want to look at that mountain and you're going to realize it's one step at a time. The old saying, you know, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Well, you realize this, so you take one step and then another step and another step, and you continue stepping, and you continue accepting you're going to be tired, you're going to be hungry, whatever, and you're going to forget things. You're going to have to go back and reread things and relearn things, everything to build onto that foundation. And the whole idea of this is to build that, you can call it this military mindset if you will, I'd call it a philosophy of mental toughness. You learn to deal with those things in your life that aren't comfortable to you. So instead of whining about them and worrying about them, that you've come to accept them for what they are and realize that they're not an obstacle to you, they're just another challenge for you to overcome. And that's the idea behind it. You don't look at things as they're obstacles which hamper your goals. You look at them as they're challenges which are to be met and to be stepped on and walked over and to surpass, to becoming a better person, a better soldier, a better thinker, a better martial artist, a better person. It doesn't matter. Just, it's one more test, one more challenge for you to become better.